everybody. I want to welcome you to the REeBroker Group April 2022 Realtor Training Opportunity. Today we have some guest speakers with us. First, we have Jordan Phillips. Jordan.
Hey everybody, Jordan Phillips, IPX 1031. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. And Karen Szaltis with Carrington Mortgage Services.
Good morning. Thanks so much for letting me be here and allowing me to give you an overview of what we can do for you.
Great. Thanks for being here. So we try to keep these webinars to about 30 minutes. So we ask that you place your questions and comments in the chat area. Yeva, next. Okay, so first we're going to go over some housekeeping procedures. So we just want to make sure that everybody on the call is aware that the reporting process for real estate transactions and loans is exactly the same. Once you have a signed listing or purchase agreement or loan application with all 6 pieces of information, you do need to report that activity to the broker. In doing so, you click on My Transactions, and we're showing here where it is located on your agent homepage when you log into the website. Yeva, next. Okay, so also another area that we want to make you aware of, that any of those unaccepted offers that you receive and the communications, you do need to upload those to your unaccepted offers area, which is by clicking through that My Transactions link, and off to the right hand side, there's the area there to do so. Okay, next. And also we wanted to mention that the REeBroker Group does not authorize any type of short-term rentals. So anything under 30 days is considered by the DRE as property management. The REeBroker group does not allow property management. So when you are entering your transaction into the system, if your start and end date is less than 30 days, the system will not allow you to do so. The information regarding this is mentioned in the property management rental lease acknowledgement that's on your homepage. So if you're not aware of that, you do need to bring yourself up to date on that. Okay, next. Also, we do have a great, we've been expanding our training videos, and Yeva's going to show us on the website some of these great videos that we have. So they're step by step from everything how to do a transaction in a sense where if you're the listing agent, how to report it, buyer's agent, how to upload documents, how to submit it for review, how to submit it for cancellation. And then we've also added how to execute the residential listing agreement, purchase agreement. And if by watching those videos, you still have additional questions, you can always reach out to our office. And if you need more support where it's one-on-one, you can sign up for mentoring, and we can do Zoom calls like this call where we can walk through the whole agreement together. Okay, next. The next thing we wanted to mention was Car Legal. They have this whole list of risk management tools, and off to the left here you'll see just a short list of them, but there's probably over 50 of them on their website. You don't have to log in to get this information, and they're really good when you run into a situation and you're like, how do I handle this? And you know, as we mentioned, you can always reach out to the broker's office, but these are a lot of times step-by-step information. If you are going into a transaction and any of their tips are applicable to your transaction, I would make sure that you're reading that information versus just winging it, because we've seen some issues recently, and we're going to discuss one coming up. If you'd like to next, you have on the next slide. Okay, so this one is amending the appraisal contingency. There's a wrong way to do it and a right way to do it. And we've dealt with some issues where the appraisals are coming in much lower than what's stated on the purchase price. So recently a buyer's agent submitted a offer to one of our agents, and the wording was not exactly clear. So there's a dispute regarding it now. And this particular example here is stating that suppose the appraisal comes in at $50,000 below the purchase price. We have some bullet points here that are directly from CAR regarding, how this situation could be looked at. So the buyer has the right to purchase the property at $10,000 above the appraised value, meaning that the purchase price itself has been reduced, or the next one is the contingency is adjusted so that the buyer will have the right to cancel only if the property appraises at less than $10,000 below the purchase price, or if the provision and the contract is unenforceable since it's merely an agreement to agree. Merely expressing a willingness to agree cannot create a binding contract. So we want to remind you again, whenever there's an issue with your transaction, you want to be the first to reach out to CAR Legal, because what CAR Legal will do is they consider it a conflict of interest if both agents are calling. So remember, you can contact them by email, contact them by phone. I would personally contact them by phone to get that in their queue that you were the first one to call. So go ahead, next. So here there's a couple of wrong ways on how to do the amending the appraisal. We're going to focus on the right way. So the right way is the first sentence of paragraph 3I is modified as followed. This agreement is contingent upon a written appraisal of the property by a licensed or certified appraiser at no less than $10,000 below the purchase price. So that would be the proper way to state it. Or if you get a document from, say, your listing agent and the buyer's agent submits, buyer will pay $10,000 variance from appraisal price. You do need to have some minimum price that the seller will accept. That has to be documented somewhere so that you don't run into issues. Okay, next. Okay, so here we want to talk about the RCSD form. So the RCSD form is now incorporated into the purchase agreement. However, when you're representing seller, you do need to have that RCSD-S. And here we give you some tips on how to fill out the contract with the principal name as the trustee. You fill in the appropriate RCSD, which here we're mentioning seller. You click on the e-sign to start a signature packet, and you're going to need to replace the principal name with the representative's individual name. Because of the way that Zip Forms is set up, you're not able to do both. So these are the tips on how to do that. So go ahead, next. Yep. All right, so this one, hopefully, those of you that are on the call were not affected by it, but there was an issue recently that the auto sell notice, go ahead, next. So when an agent puts a listing into the MLS, they have to put a close of escrow date. When that close of escrow date is approaching, if you're not going to close on that date, then you do need to go in and modify the date. Remember, in order to modify the date, you have to have something in writing. You have to have the extension of time addendum showing that that new date has been agreed upon. Anytime you make changes to the MLS, it has to be documented and signed by whatever party. So when you're in purchase agreement escrow, then you need both parties to sign that extension of time addendum. And then here we've given you some information regarding the courtesy notices. Don't ignore those if you do receive them from the MLS. If you are knowing that you are going to have to extend the close of escrow. Go ahead, next. So here is some tips on how to avoid it. You want to extend, as we mentioned, the close of escrow date, change the listing status within 2 days. Manually close the listing if it's sold. If your listing's close of escrow date has been delayed, you must manually enter a new estimated close of escrow date within 2 days of the previous estimated close of escrow date. Next. Okay, so you cannot just allow your listing to go to auto sold status, even if the estimated close of escrow date is correct. You must manually go in there and update it because you have to enter the other, the agent's buyer's agent's information. If there's any concessions, you do need to update that. So if you have further questions about that, you can go to crmls.org, or if that's not your particular MLS, you'll want to make sure that that you're up to date on those rules. Okay, next. Okay, Yeva, your turn.
Hi, everyone. I am part of the IT team. I work with our office team and the IT team and bring everything together. So I just wanted to highlight a few things on our website. I'll be talking about the marketing hub, my transactions page, my recruits page, and then this website. We do have a free website, so make sure the on button is turned on and then you can edit it. We had some little glitches here and there, but I believe they're all fixed. So over here, you can just edit different parts of your website and then share that on social media. The marketing hub is great and has a lot of tools for all our agents. Just go on it and look through everything. You can share them with your clients. It's just really nice. So here's our resources, logos, just listed postcards, banners. So go and look at it and let us know your feedback. We'd appreciate it. If you want to recruit an agent to join our company, you do get $100 for every transaction they close that they paid the broker fee for. But you have to make sure to give them your recruiting link so that you and they are connected on our system. You can copy this link and give it to them directly. You can put this in your social media. We even have an easy option shared on Twitter and on Facebook and by email. And then another thing that I wanted to mention, some of our agents had a hard time finding their transactions. Under my transaction, it's usually on all active. So if you're looking for a completed transaction, make sure to select that option right here on the status and click search, or just put it all. And another thing that I don't think a lot of you guys know, but we have a button right here that says download list of clients. For all the transactions you've closed, if you press this button, you'll get the buyers and sellers contact information for all the transactions you've done in the past in an Excel format. And if you guys have any questions, just make sure to email itsupport@REeBrokerCA.com. Another quick thing I wanted to show on the upload side, you can either drag and drop into this box to upload your documents. You can either click this button to select from your computer, or you can put this in the subject line of your email and email directly the attachments to upload at REeBrokerCA.com. But please make sure you use your email that is associated with your account. Otherwise, it won't go through. So thank you very much. I'm gonna go back to the presentation.
Okay, there's a couple things. Great job, Yeva. If anyone wants the background like we have on Zoom, we have two different copies, like the one Yeva has or the one I have, that you can find in your logo download area. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was when you're using that TID feature, you can use it throughout your whole transaction to send any of your email communications or attachments directly to your file. Make sure that you BCC it so that if other people that are on the email respond back to upload at REeBroker.ca, they would be getting an error message because their email address is not in our system. So that's something that's personalized for you. Okay. And then there's a video too on those instructions. So, all right, next, go ahead, Jordan.
Well, hello, brave souls who came to learn about tax law. My name is Jordan Phillips. I work over at IPX 1031. We are a 1031 exchange accommodator. And I just want to give a brief overview of the 1031 exchange process because over the last 18 to 24 months, we've seen a historic number of 1031 exchange activity. To put things in perspective, in 2021, our company nationwide did over 40,000 1031 exchanges, which is close to double the amount we did in 2020. And about a third of those transactions come right here in the state of California. So there's a good chance that if you do work with investor clients, if you haven't been a part of a 1031 exchange, that you will, going forward, just because tax rates are very high. So when you blend together the federal and state taxes, Most of our California clients could expect to pay close to 40% in capital gains taxes on the sale of their real estate, and appreciation is also very high. So when you mix in high tax rates, high appreciation, kind of creates this perfect storm, for our investor clients to take advantage of a 1031 exchange, which allows you to defer paying your capital gains taxes whenever you sell and buy investment real estate. Next, please. So really, when you're doing a 1031 exchange, there's a few basic guidelines that you're going to want to be aware of. The first is that you must, like I said, sell and buy either real estate used as an investment or in the use of a business. So a lot of our clients think, I'm selling a single family rental. I got to go out and scour the market for the one other single family rental that's available and to complete my exchange. Fortunately, the IRS, which is a pain most of the time, is pretty broad as far as the types of real estate you can buy. In fact, you can buy and sell any type of real estate in a 1031 exchange. So if you want to buy single family rental, duplex, triplex, fourplex, commercial, vacant land. Hell, I had a client who bought a floating home last month through their 1031 exchange. So anything that is real estate will qualify for a 1031 exchange. And you can mix and match property types. You can sell and buy anywhere in the 50 United States, US Virgin Islands, and Guam. Yes, I do have a client who bought a property in Guam that does qualify. So for example, I had a client who bought a property for $5 million 5 years ago, got an offer to sell it for $13 million. So he ran his fish packing business out of this building. So what he's doing, he's selling the property, taking $5 million of those proceeds to buy another property for his business, and he's using the other $8 million to buy investment real estate on the residential side. So you can buy multiple properties, switch states, switch property types, very flexible. So what you cannot do is buy like a primary residence or a second home or a short-term flip. Outside of that, it's pretty much fair game for a 1031 exchange. Next, please. So that's the good thing. You're flexible on the property types you can sell and buy. Like I said, the IRS is a pain, so they can't make it that easy to do a 1031 exchange, right? They do have to impose timelines. So basically, in this market, if you're working with a buyer in a 1031 exchange, you certainly have probably the hardest role in a 1031 exchange, because once the sale property closes, that's when the clock starts for a 1031 exchange. So from the closing of the sale, your client will have two time periods. The first is they will have 45 calendar days to identify a potential property or properties to purchase, and a total of 180 calendar days to actually close. Now you're probably thinking, well, 180 days to close, that's usually doable. What really causes an issue, and really the main issue in doing a 1031 exchange, is the 45 days to identify. So to identify a property, your client would need to provide an address of property or properties to us, the qualified intermediary, within the 45 days. And unfortunately, these are strict timelines. So unless your client is affected by a federally declared disaster, they will need to stick to these timelines. So I get yelled at all the time. Clients think I made up these rules. Fortunately, I did not. The IRS did. We just have to kind of enforce them for our clients. So 45 days to identify, 180 days to close. Both those timelines start the day after the sale property closes. Next, please. So the third major guideline when doing a 1031 exchange is how much do I actually need to purchase for value-wise to defer all of my taxes? So a lot of clients think, I just need to reinvest the gain or how much I put into the property. So in order to defer all taxes in a 1031 exchange, if you want to walk away tax-free, the value of the property or properties that you purchase needs to be equal to or greater than in value to the property which was sold. So for example, you sell for $1 million. You wanted to defer all of your taxes on that sale of $1 million. You would have to go out and buy another property or properties, which is valued at $1 million or higher. So within all that, you'd have to use all the cash from the sale. You have to replace the value of the debt that was paid off either with a new loan or bringing in cash. And as long as you do that, you can walk away tax-free. So that means you would defer federal long-term capital gains as well as any state taxes. For example, in the state of California, we are subject to the highest state income tax of any state in the country. Naturally, why wouldn't we be? So some of our clients are taxed up to 13.3% on the state level. That's deferred. Federal level is either 15 or 20%. Note on that, we have clients who do buy less in value. So for example, if you sell for $1 million and you buy something for $900,000, that is what's called a partial 1031 exchange. So only that $100,000 difference in that scenario would be subject to taxation. So it's not an all or nothing proposition. It could be maybe, I guess you could say, an all or something, proposition. But just know the value that the IRS looks at is the sales price. That's what you have to hit. Next, please. So a lot of our clients, they get caught up. Oh, I'm just doing this to defer taxes. That is the main benefit of doing a 1031 exchange. But really, there are a lot of non-tax benefits to doing a 1031 exchange. For example, you're sitting down with your investor clients and they probably own a portfolio of properties. This is a great time to sell because appreciation is very high, and some of their properties may or may not, be performing what they would like. So they can sell that property, go out, buy a property that's going to maybe cash flow better, appreciate better, maybe change markets, property types, using it for estate planning purposes as well. That is something that we see our clients utilizing 1031 exchanges for. So next, please. So I should probably talk about, what the hell my role is in a 1031 exchange. So I'm what's called a qualified intermediary. So anytime you do a 1031 exchange, you basically have to have a neutral third party like us set up the exchange prior to the sale closing, receive the funds, hold them until the purchase is ready to be completed. So my company, IPX 1031, we are owned by Fidelity National Financial, which is the same company that owns Fidelity Title, Chicago Title, Lawyers Title, Tycor Title. So we are under that same umbrella. So basically what that allows us to do is to provide the highest level of security on our clients' proceeds while they're with us during the 1031 exchange, which is important because, believe it or not, our industry is federally unregulated on what we can and cannot do with the proceeds. We are holding right now about $10 billion of 1031 proceeds. So you want to make sure whoever your client works with, they do have necessary financial securities in place. Next, please. So really my role in the company is to guide your clients and yourself through any 1031 exchange needs and or questions that you might have. So my contact information is on this slide. I am in Southern California. My primary office is in San Diego, but doesn't matter where your client is selling and or buying, I'd be happy to help. So that's all I have. Just want to give you that brief snapshot. So thanks again for having me.
Excellent. Thank you, Jordan. Okay, next, Karen.
Well, Jordan, thank you so much. I actually learned a lot on that, so thank you. My name is Karen. I am the AE for REeBroker, and I'm going to give you an overview of how Carrington works and how potentially I can help you and your clients get a loan. So next, please. Our focus is the underserved, and that's part of our mission statement. We want to help those that are underserved in our society, whether it be bad credit, a veteran, and we want to help educate. So next, please. So what does Carrington do? We do what most others can't do. We focus on the tougher stuff out there. When you have a client that may have had some sort of issues where they had bad credit, things of that nature, we can help them. We go down to a 500 manual on an FHA and a VA. We also have a great non-QM program for self-borrowers, self-employed borrowers, as well as investors. Next, please. So an overview of our FHA, these cute little pictures here give you an idea of what we focus on and what we're able to do. Next. However, here are our bullet points. We will do a minimum FICO of 580 with an LTV of 96.5%. If your client falls below a 580, we will go to a 500, although it's required to have a 90% LTV. We allow gift funds, and there won't be any reserves required for a 1 to 2 unit property. We do go up to 4 units, so you're aware of that. And also manufactured homes. I know that it's a questionable thing for a lot of people, but we will handle manufactured homes. Next, please. So our streamline, we're not going to see a lot of these, but the big thing to take away from this is that with the streamline, there's no FICO if they haven't had any, no FICO results needed if they haven't had any late payments in the last 12 months. Unfortunately, manufactured homes for a streamline are not allowed. So next, please. VA. All right, so this is part of our underserved, and we do focus a lot on this. We are very much with the Veterans Association in order to get any of our veterans into a home, and we work hard at that. Next, please. So with a VA loan, as you're all aware probably, it's a 100% LTV if need be, minimum FICO of 500, and we also will allow for gifts. Now, the VA loans, you have to go get a little bit more information on that, but at any time, you're welcome to reach out to me or to your broker, and they can give you more of the specifics on what is required for a VA loan. Next. Again, IRRL is more like a streamline for FHA, so we can just move on from that. Thank you. So non-QM, this is where we want to get to. Right now is a great time for investors. As Jordan just went over, we've got people that are going to do their 1031 exchange. They want to look for different products to be purchased out there. Right now is a great time for investors. We will allow for self-employed. We're also allowing 1099s as well as P&L statements right now. And that's something we just rolled out this week. Can you go to the next slide, please? All right, so what are the key features? Well, we don't have any investor overlays. We service our own products. The FICO is based on the primary wage earner score. Because we do service our own loans, we allow exceptions. So we never say no. we will dig through it and see where we can get exceptions for your particular client. Also, there's no MI, which is a huge thing for a lot of people, especially if you're a first-time investor. And we do lend to first-time investors. Next, please. All right, so here's a basic overview of our non-QM loans. We do go down to a 550 and a FICO for our flexible advantage. But when we look at our investor advantage, the lowest we'll go in our investor advantage is 660. Next, please. So with our investor program, we also offer a DSCR program. This slide is actually incorrect because, and if you're not familiar with the DSCR program, it is your debt service coverage ratio, which means we're going to take your monthly rent and divide it by your TIA. And if it covers, it could be all the way to 0.75%. But we do allow up to 85% and an LTV. So that is incorrect in the slide. So I do apologize for that. It's a new enhancement that we offered here as before these slides were sent out. So next, please. So with the investor advantage, we'll not utilize personal income if you don't want to. Your employment isn't what is looked at, no tax returns. Again, the DSCR is going to cover all of the expenses for the monthly program. We just need to see the leases, and we can go over that program into depth if you have any additional questions after this. Next, please. So bank statements. Bank statements, we have the 12 and 24 months. This is predominantly for the self-employed. We do want to see that a person has been in their job or the same field for at least 2 years. If we're going to be utilizing a person's bank statements, if they're personal, we can take 100% of the calculation of their earnings. If it is a business bank statement, we go to 50%. And that can be, again, challenged because we do service our own loans, down to 20% if we get a CPA that can certify that. Next slide, please. So I apologize that I did not put my information into the slide, so I'm going to put it in the chat for you. If you have any questions, reach out to me or your MLO if you're a realtor, or Kathy. Kathy can get the information to you as well. So thank you so much for your time this morning.
Very good. Thank you, Karen. So that was interesting regarding the where you're taking the primary wage earners FICO, because a lot of the lenders that we work with, they take the mid score and it's the lowest of the two borrowers. So
right, not on that program. So yeah, that's yeah.
And then do you guys do non-resident alien with the Social Security?
Yes, if they have their social, if they have a Social Security number, yes.
Okay.
But we do not handle ITINs.
Okay. Okay. Very good. So let's see here. We have Keisha was asking if you'll get a link of the recording. Yes. And then also on our, Yeva, can you show everybody where they can see all of the previous recordings that we've done as well? Because there's a lot of good tips on there. Yeah. And then Juanita, yeah, we'll post, or Jordan, can you type your phone number into the chat? Because Juanita is asking for it.
And then Nimi is also asking for the Karen's information. Karen.
Okay, so if you're
put
not
that into the chat.
Yeah, if you're not a licensed MLO, you do have to go through one of the MLOs with the company. So you just reach out to loans@REeBrokerCA.com and we'll connect you, Namia, with the MLO, and then the MLO will be the contact with Karen, actually. So
then let me show you all where to find the previous videos. It would be under training videos, webinar training videos, and then we're going to be putting all of these up here. We have a YouTube channel that you can just find everything in one big place. So you can see right here, we have a bunch: March Realtor, February, January. So this one will be up here too. And then we will link into here for you guys so it'll be easier access.
Yeah, so this particular one, it'll be uploaded by tomorrow or the end of the day?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, and so then you guys will have that information. Is there any more questions? Is that
I think that's it. Oh yeah, so Roger is asking if Roger, yeah, thank you very much. He's asking about the transaction page. We are working on updating it for you guys to make it so that you can add it progressively, or when you receive it, like when an offer is initially made, much of the other information is still missing, such as escrow, email addresses, and other information. Yeah, I completely agree with you, Roger. So I'm going to take that as one of the ideas and give it to my IT team. And so we will design it. Sarah, who's on here, actually is one of the designers. So she will work on that too. So thank you, Roger. Yeah, we want to make it our goal this year is to work on the agent side of our website to make sure things are easier for you.
Any other questions? All right, and then Giva, one more thing. Could you show on the homepage the calendar so that the team, everyone can see when the next webinar is? And we are constantly adding to that as well. So make sure that you guys are checking that. So training, yeah.
So training calendar is right here, and then you can click on it and you'll see the link. So we did have a few things for this month, but here's our office is closed on Memorial Day, and so you can quickly check. But here's another one of our realtor trainings, and we are, like Kathy said, adding more and more. So if you click on it, you can see what events we have.
Yeah, and then anytime you guys have suggestions on, you know, topics, we'd appreciate that as well. Very good. All right. Thanks everyone for joining us, and have a great day. And
Thank you.
see you soon.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.